Hi, I'm Erica Courier. Fishermen are known for coming up with new and creative ways to prepare seafood. I'd like to share two of my favorites, rosemary encrusted halibut and maple glazed salmon. I'm going to start by preparing the crust for the halibut. First, you take pine nuts. To grind pine nuts, I use a coffee grinder. You could use a grinder if you have one, but coffee grinder works great. Next, I'm going to add a couple teaspoons of garlic, a couple squirts of lemon, and then chop up fresh rosemary. You want to chop the rosemary so it's very fine, so the flavor really seeps into the rest of the crust. We're going to add about a teaspoon of olive oil. You want enough to hold it together. It's really important to spray your grill rag. So then you just coat the filet with the crust. When grilling, it'll really help to hold in the moisture. Okay, the glaze is so easy. It's 3 ingredients: maple syrup, soy sauce, and just a dash of pepper. Glaze is ready. Now it's time for the grill. All right, our grill's hot, so now I'm going to put the halibut on it. I heated it to medium-high, and the rule of thumb is about 10 minutes per inch, so it's going to take a little while. We'll give it a head start before we put the salmon on. A nut crust really adds texture to the dish. You can try any type of nut, and if you toast them, you'll bring out more flavor. The halibut's been on for about 4 minutes, so it's time to put the salmon on. You always want to wait till your grill's up to temp before you oil it. So I'm going to cook it flesh side down to sear it and grill mark the fish. I'm going to oil the skin side too, just to be sure it won't stick. A glaze can be as simple as honey and Cajun seasoning. Anything with sugar in it will do. I'm going to flip the salmon now. I want to give it a very liberal dose of glaze. As the glaze cooks, it'll harden and create a nice thin crust over the filet, which will hold in the moisture and add to the flavor. So we're going to close it and give it a couple more minutes. Keep the heat on medium-high so that you can get a hard sugar shell. You're going to want to apply that glaze at least twice to make it thick enough to create that shell. Try marinating your salmon before you glaze too to add to the flavor. It's time to check the fish. Check the thickest part of the fillet, and we're looking for the color to change to just opaque. I think we are there. Yeah, so we're going to pull it off the heat. It'll keep cooking. Now let's look at the halibut. When you're checking a fish with a crust on it, you have to move the crust aside because you need the thickest part of the fillet to get a really good look at the fish. Oh, it's perfect. It's juicy and the meat's just turned from translucent white to opaque, bright white. We all get stuck doing the same recipes over and over again. But don't be afraid to try something new, especially when it's this quick and easy.